Good afternoon, 201. This is our weekly feedback video. I'm going to talk today about modals of probability. So modal verbs expressing different levels of probability. So these were also from the grammar focus sections in your textbook. One of the ones I like to talk about is the following. They wrote, it must be a duck, and they were asking us which of these is more certain or more probable and which ones are less. So must always expresses an obligation or that something has to be true. So if they're asking you which one is most sure, it's always going to be the one that involves must, as opposed to may, can, could, might, any of those, because those are not certain. Those could be yes or no. Must, if they're saying must, means that it has to be true. So that one's always most sure. For example, it could be a duck or it might be a duck. Those are less sure than it might or it must be a duck, because if it might be a duck, well, it might not be. It might be a bear. Or it could be a duck. It could be a horse. It could be anything else. So that's what I wanted to say about those. Also, they also just mean that it's the possibility. It is possible that it's a duck. So they're not saying it cannot be, just to be clear. So it very well could be, but just that it's not certain. That is the key takeaway from that. Now, another point, we use like when we think but are not sure about something that we see. For example, it looks like a man playing the saxophone, but I'm not sure. It might be a woman playing the saxophone. It might be a man playing a different instrument. Like maybe I'm really far away and I can't see. So it's not 100%. So again, like when we're seeing something but we're not clear, we need more information or we need to get closer to know exactly what it is that we are looking at. It looks like your mother, but it might be someone else. That's another example. She might be wearing a feather. She might be wearing something else. Another example. So these mean the same thing, but the last one, notice that we didn't use like. She might be wearing a feather. But again, we used might, modal verb there. So we don't know. It's a 50-50 modal verb. Okay? So now another concept from the activities in the workbook that I want to talk about would be the following. We have the following sentence. They must have been friends. Must have been, so that's past probability. So it's saying must, so we know that it's certain, but it was in the past. So we can say that same thing now in the present. We can say they must be friends instead of have been friends. So again, those are both using the modal verb must, so they're guaranteed for sure. What changes is the time, either past or present, depending on how we write the sentence. Now, let's look at another example of that. He must love her very much. So again, must, so he has to love her, and it's in the present. He must love her very much. Let's take that same expression and move it to the past. He must have loved her very much. So again, it's guaranteed, but now it's in the past. So since it was in the past, it might not be present now. We just know that when that was said, it was true because they used modal verb must. Okay? So hopefully that clarifies some confusion regarding the activities in the textbook this week, and I will see you all in next week's video.